And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our third series of the night. And we are jumping in mid-series as well. We're jumping into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkion. We have our American... He's not from Canada, right? Yeah, the American Terran player, the purple Terran, representing himself, currently teamless. It is BerryCruncH. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the yellow Terran himself, representing the Platinum Heroes, leading the series 1-0. It is INexorable. Here we go again. We are jumping in mid-series. We missed out on game 1. I'm not too sure what transpired. It was on Ghost River, and it did go the way of INexorable. Again, INexorable is coming in as the heavy favorites, but best of luck to BerryCruncH. Has been quite an active streamer over the past year, over the past 2 years even. Has been growing quite a lot, and is going to be facing off against INexorable. I'm not too sure, I'm not too familiar with the playstyle of BerryCruncH. I don't really know if he's more of a mech enjoyer or a bio enjoyer in TvT, so this is actually my first time casting him. My first time experiencing his gameplay, so I'm ready. I'm ready to be introduced. I'm ready to bear witness. Bear witness to the crunch that is Berry. Let's go. Meanwhile, INexorable, we have been featuring him a lot more this year. He has kind of risen up the ranks of the Brazilian scene, the Brazilian region. Fun fact, we're going to be casting a Brazilian tournament tomorrow, which is going to be featuring INexorable as well. We'll say that INexorable is now, what, top 3, maybe top 2 Terran in Brazil. Of course, still behind that of Kelazur, but has been improving a lot. He has been getting coaching from Future, coaching from Vindicta. That is a big reason as to why he has risen through the ranks as quickly as he has. It's been really great to see the improvement of INexorable over the past year of play. But again, we'll see how far he can go in this tournament, and we'll see if he's on point here today, as the BerryCruncH is no slouch. Not at all. Double gas open. Double gas all around. Mirrored build so far, going for faster factories, delaying our CCs, and we'll see where we go from here. As the Reaper moves out across the map, INexorable in position. It gets a free shot off. BerryCruncH forced to back up, forced to... Oh, that takes another hit. And we'll have to stay there in the steam vent, as INexorable does take advantage of BerryCruncH, does assert his dominance, and takes control of the Zonaga. So a nice little move here from INexorable. BerryCruncH has to back up, is going to be expanding here on the low ground. INexorable a little bit faster here when it comes to that expansion timing, going for that fact, going for that cyclone. BerryCruncH is slightly behind when it comes to his overall build, but he's getting there, you know, getting into his Hellion production, moving out, trying to take control of the Zonaga. Meanwhile, INexorable, he's already moved out. Already has left. Rotating around and looking to delay the CC. Both players are. Let's go. Reaper Hellion heads towards the natural base. Going for the SCV, Cyclone's in position, but the SCV is going to go down, and BerryCruncH gets the hell out of there. At the same time, INexorable does hit the natural base of Berry. Goes for the SCV. Hellion's in position, and can we focus on the worker? We can! SCV goes down, one Reaper will fall, and INexorable gets the hell out of there, but BerryCruncH, he's on the hunt, hoping to try to catch this Reaper and shut it down. We'll see if we can. As the Hellion is on the move, and this Reaper will not escape, will not get away. And a nice trade, a better trade for our purple Terran, as he gets 2 Reapers for the 1 SCV. Meanwhile, he killed an SCV across the map, so overall better trades for Berry. Meanwhile, INexorable back at home, getting into his 1-1-1, initially with Cyclone production, followed by Viking. Interesting, going for a bit of a faster tech lab on that factory, going for early tank production. Okay. Tanks are already on the way for INexorable. And we'll see if this comes to a head. We'll see if this comes down to a second starport as well. I'm referring to a 2-port, 2-base all-in, which some Terran players have embraced in the past, and I'm definitely keeping my eye on INexorable here. Back at home, BerryCruncH getting into his own 1-1-1, just now getting into his tech lab, going for a bit of delayed tank production instead, but is getting there. Is going to be getting there. Lid moves out to harass on the right-hand side. Additional racks is on the way. Tank production now beginning here for Berry. Back at home, looks like we did end up catching a Cyclone. Ooh, that was a bit of a hefty loss. Cyclone did fall. So we are going to be rallied in towards the main. INexorable not going for a second starport, going for a third CC, instead of going for a much more macro-oriented approach. Rushing into a third base. Liberator does siege, but we have a Viking, we have Marines, we have Cyclones. We will get some damage done though. We do get 2 Marine kills and 1 SCV. The Liberator does fall. And again, the INexorable is working towards a bit of a longer game. And I do appreciate Berry is going for the additional axes, going for stim. It is going to be Biotank out of our purple Terran. Meanwhile, from the side of INexorable, still yet to be determined. We can still throw down another factory if we so choose to. Reapers are denied. And thankfully, Raxus. Thank God. Biotank versus Biotank. No mech. Not this time. Let's go. Do appreciate it. Appreciate it here as INexorable is breaking out. Reapers, they slip into the main. Oh, they try to slip into the natural, but alas, we do have a Wolof set up. Reapers will get away. As they do settle from here. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, BerryCruncH did not scout the main base, is not aware of the third that's already done. Meanwhile, speaking of the third base, no third in sight from our purple Terran player. 2 more Raxes instead. This could be the beginnings of a 2-base all-in. And again, the third is heavily delayed here for Berry. INexorable moving out. It does take control of the Zanaga. The army is spotted. Berry getting in position. Does move out, but INexorable does not have to commit. Remember, the yellow Terran is up a base. Our goal here is to delay the third of our opponent. Cyclones lock on. Marines, oh, they threaten to stim. And INexorable just has to chill here, just has to contain his opponent. That is the win condition for INexorable. Oh, as our CC, there we go. The CC is about to be landed. And still no third base. Go for the scan, looking for the main army. Does confirm that INexorable is returning back home. At the same time, BerryCruncH going for a drop across the map. A very committed Doom drop here from Berry. Now, Berry still has the advantage of the army supply here. Does have a large army to work with as he is playing 2 base. Now it looks like he's getting a CC on location. Very late expansion from Berry. This drop needs to get damage done. Assuming that he expands. Scan reveals no expansion. Tanks are set up. Turrets are on the way. Doom drop towards the natural. INexorable out of position. And the Doom drop will catch him off guard. We boost in. Not into the natural, boost into the main. We're going for the production. We're going for the kill move. And we do force a big reaction here. Do we have any disables? We do. We disable the tanks. Order starts to throw down, and we will clean this up. We shut down the tanks, we shut down the bio army. At the same time, we're pushing into tank line. No! We push into the tanks, and INexorable will defend. He shuts down the drop, he shuts down the main push. The Marines are still wreaking havoc, don't get me wrong. And, oh, they do not get the Ravens. And INexorable does defend, and he is up 20 SCVs. He is far ahead here in the economy. And he's now getting, well, now he's catching up and getting ahead in terms of the army as well. Boys being pulled to repair. BerryCruncH has to pull back. And his CC just began. It did just begin here. Again, BerryCruncH was basically all in. He was all in with that move, was committed, and had to end the game then and there. Because he didn't, he's going to be outscaled. Now, we still have a chance, going for another Doom drop. Once again, though, this time, even more pressure on BerryCruncH to make use of this Doom drop to get damage done. Unfortunately, that's a ring of turrets. That's a ring of turrets in position. It's not going to be easy breaking through and getting into the main base. But the reality is that we have to. Like, we have to break through. We have to go in. Scanner reveals the location of the main army. Berry, he knows he can maybe find a way in. He did not scan the main, and that's still a lot of turrets that we have to boost through. And it's not going to be pretty. And we're boosting in. We do boost in. 1 medevac goes down. Tanks will siege up. Medevac still under fire. Yeah, every medevac is going to fall. 1 medevac left. We disable every single tank. Now here comes the bio. Here comes the Marines. INexorable. He stims and he wins. Poppy shuts everything down. Cleans up the army. And that was the Hail Mary play for BerryCruncH. The only way back in here was with the Doom Drop, and alas, unfortunately, INexorable was ready for it. More or less, was in position. Behind this, BerryCruncH licking his wounds, building up, but now it's time for the Yellow Terran to move out. Here we go. It's time for INexorable to move out, to commit across the map. 4cc on the way. Tanks are slowly pushing forward. Looking at the units tab here, 7 tanks to 2. 2 Ravens did go down earlier, but there's still 1 Raven left. We still have a disable available. As Berry is holding the line. Tank is within range. CC under fire. 4th base on the way. And INexorable's taking his time. He could try to rush this position, especially with disables from the Raven, but he's slowly taking his time, containing his opponent. Drop gets across the map. We have reinforcements. Is it going to be enough, though? Boys are being pulled. SCVs are going down. This will cost quite a lot of worker kills, but INexorable will defend. At the same time, he drops into the natural. BerryCruncH being pulled out of position. SCVs are going down, and they're that much more valuable here to the Purple Terran. Oof. Yeah, as INexorable has got 2-2. The Bio Army does break through the Marines. We're getting on top of the tanks. 1 tank goes down. As again, INexorable, he's up in upgrades. We have 3-3 on the way for the Yellow Terran. 2-2 still in production for Berry. A lot of this does come down to how all-in our Purple Terran player was. And in a mirror matchup, it's difficult to recover. When it comes to TvT, there are ways to come back. Obviously, you can be down in supply, you can be down 20-30 army supply, and outposition your opponents and make use of your tanks and take a good fight. That is true. Like, we have potential. We do have potential here for BerryCruncH to overcome and overwhelm INexorable if he's able to catch him off guard, but it is reliant on INexorable making mistakes. Likewise, Doom Drops, they also have potential as well, but more turrets on the... Oh my god. We have more turrets on the way. I mean, even what we already have here is good enough. With the ring and turrets. Likewise, on the left-hand side, we also have some towers, some sensor towers. INexorable moving in. It's not the easiest thing to break the siege line, but because there are so few Marines, we can commit. And INexorable, he even leaves reinforcements back at home. I mean, he sees where the Marines. He knows that they're not here. They have to be somewhere. They're moving out across the map. We shut down the tanks. We break through. We get on top of the 3rd base. It's going to be a kill in the CC. Meanwhile, we drop at the 3rd. Oh, we weren't quite waiting for that. We drop at the 3rd base. SCVs are going down. Base as well. We're trading a base for a base. Not a bad drop out of BerryCruncH. At the same time, though, INexorable, he just drops into the main. Oh, God. Boys are being pulled. Upgrades are even, but we have medevacs to support. Forced to pick up, forced to get out of there. And again, this drop of BerryCruncH just kill a base. Like, this is impactful, don't get me wrong. Ooh, as INexorable. Bold move, rushing into the natural. It's not going to be pretty here trying to break through this, but we do barely break through. 1 tank left. And 1 tank remaining. The final tank is going to get picked up just barely. Again, this was not a pretty move out from INexorable, but it works out anyway. GG gets called, and INexorable will take game number 2 and the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. INexorable does take the series here. Was not the cleanest of games there. BerryCruncH had moments. He was able to snipe bases, able to get into mineral lines. Unfortunately, he was always behind in the economy. He was always perpetually down a base. Unfortunately, his 3rd was insanely late. Again, 2 base all in out of BerryCruncH. Did not kill INexorable, did not do enough damage early on. So Berry was playing from behind for most of that game. But was able to hold his own. And able to hang in there. As long as he did. GG, well played. With that, INexorable will advance on into the next round, where he has his next opponent ready and waiting. It's going to be INexorable versus Mixu in the Round of 16. Let's go.